A Londoner honoured with an MBE for services to cycling last week says he hopes the award will prompt better support for bike users. Roger Geffen, who swapped a career in classical music for a life in campaigning, received the accolade at Buckingham Palace last Friday. And the Campaigns and Policy Director at the National Cycling Charity, CTC, I'm pleased to say, joins London Live News this lunchtime. Huge congratulations in order.
Well, thank you very much. It's a great honour on behalf of everybody involved in promoting cycling, whether for CTC or for local campaigners and campaign groups all around the country. This is a fantastic honour and a recognition of everything we're doing to kind of boost cycle use, maximise its health, environmental and other benefits, whether it's by creating better cycling conditions, running projects to enable people to get that bike out of the shed and get it fixed up, helping people from all backgrounds and abilities to discover the joys of cycling and the money saving and the time saving benefits it can bring.
Friday was the day you picked up that accolade. Tell us what it was like inside the palace.
Well, it was a fabulous experience. We were all briefed beforehand on what we had to do, on the correct protocol and all the rest of it. And then, so we then queued up, each in turn stepped up. It was Prince Charles was taking the award ceremony, stepped up. He asked me, I was announced as having received the MBE for services to cycling. I stepped up to him. He asked if I'd cycled there that morning. I was able to say that I had. He was amused by that. I mentioned that I'd been over at the Paris Climate Summit in the previous week, and of course he'd been there too, and I thanked him for everything he did on climate change. And he said, yes, there's a lot still to do, and and thanked me and said, keep going. So I think it was really good to recognise that there was a common interest there in promoting cycling for a sustainable future, as well as for all its health and other benefits.
Talking of more to be done, what message would you like the authorities to take from this MBE that you've received for, as you mentioned, services to cycling?
Well, if there was one thing I would like even more than an MBE, it would be for the government to fund cycling to a decent level. We've been, we and other cycling campaigning groups, and indeed many MPs from all parties, have been saying we need funding of at least £10 per person annually, rising to £20 over time, to really start catching up with what the Danes and the Dutch have been doing for decades. So far, the government has put forward funding of just £1.39 per person annually, so we've got a long way to go. London is well ahead of most of the rest of the country in that respect, and is starting to really blaze a trail, and you can see it on London streets that cyclists are beginning to come out. It's becoming less obviously an activity for the fit young lycra-clad males, and it's becoming more diverse, more women cycling, more older people cycling. But we've got such a long way to go, particularly outside London, to really catch up and make cycling a normal, safe and enjoyable activity for people of all ages and backgrounds.
You mentioned London doing well across the country, but how about in reflection of the wider world? How is London's cycling comparing?
Well, even London has a lot of catching up to do with cities like Amsterdam or Copenhagen, which are just wonderful places with streets that are just full of life and vitality, because they're people-friendly, cycle-friendly, pedestrian-friendly places, rather than giving all of the road space over to motor vehicles. And of course, that reallocation of road space means that our streets just work more efficiently. A typical lane on a road can take 2,000 cars per hour or 14,000 bicycles, which is a more efficient way of enabling a city to function. And of course, it's just a more relaxing, more enjoyable place to be, and people shop more freely in streets that are less dominated by motor traffic. And you can achieve all that by giving over space to walking, cycling and public transport.
Well, Roger, huge congratulations once again. I have to ask, when you cycled to Buckingham Palace, where did you lock up your bike?
I presented it to the Palace Police, and they looked after it just inside the gate, and they assured me it was probably the best protected bicycle in the country at the time.